significant development from the House Judiciary Committee today, taking a big step forward toward opening up an impeachment inquiry.
You're saying there's no difference between what you're doing now and an impeachment inquiry, correct?
In effect, we are going to see what remedies we could recommend, including the possibility of article of impeachment.
The chairman now openly threatening impeachment proceedings.
The House must have access to all the relevant facts and consider whether to exercise its full Article 1 powers.
Spelling it out for the first time today in their court suit to get the grand jury material from Robert Mueller's report, while also readying a second court case to compel former White House counsel Don McGahn to comply with his subpoena.
This court filing is the first time that you're seeing us telegraph to the court that one of the remedies we have is impeachment.
I would say we are in an impeachment investigation.
This comes as now 100 Democrats support opening up an impeachment inquiry. And as some are growing impatient with Speaker Pelosi's approach, worried the window for starting impeachment proceedings may be closing.
No, I'm not trying to run out the clock. We will proceed when we have what we need to proceed, not one day sooner.
But pressure is coming behind closed doors from even her top deputies, like Chairman Nadler, who has pleaded with Pelosi privately to allow him to lean into impeachment.
We may decide to recommend articles of impeachment at some point. We may not. That remains to be seen. And there's no point speculating on whether the Speaker or anybody else will agree with our decision at that point.
Meantime, Pelosi today also trying to minimize another rift with a fellow Democrat.
I don't think there ever was any hatchet.
Meeting one-on-one with progressive freshman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for the first time in months.
I've always felt, again, it's like you're in a family. In a family, you have your differences, but you're still a family.
After the two have been openly feuding in public.
Looking forward to us continuing our work. As always, I think the Speaker respects, the fact that we're coming together as a party.
Meanwhile, security cameras capturing this brutal attack outside of a Washington, D.C. hotel. We want to warn you this video is graphic and could be disturbing to you. This shows a man beaten, knocked to the ground before being repeatedly kicked and then stomped on. Police are now looking for these suspects. There's as many as a dozen, and they are all believed to be teenagers between 13 and 15 years old. My gosh, CNN's Renee Marsh is live in Washington with more. What are police saying about this, Renee?
Well, that video is so hard to watch this morning, Allison. I can tell you that here in Washington, D.C., they are still looking for those attackers you just saw in that video. They appear, as you said, to be very young, teenagers. We have to warn you again that that video is very graphic. You see one of the teenager initially starts this all off by throwing the first punch. The man falls to the ground before all of the others join in. Now, this was caught on a surveillance camera in Washington, D.C. It was Sunday morning. Right around 1 o'clock in the morning outside of a local hotel. And again, you're looking at it there. The victim was with another man, and he too was assaulted. Now, that is all according to police. Now, why they attacked this man is unclear at this hour. However, according to the police report, the second victim tried to intervene. He screamed, "That's not him. You have the wrong person." But the attackers, they were able to get away. We know from our local affiliates also covering this story that the man that you saw in the video there, he suffered head injuries, a left eye socket injury as well. But police do need the public's help with this one. Back to you guys.
We are also hearing from the teen's parents for the first time on what it's like to hear your child went from being missing to a possible murderer. In a statement, Cam McLeod's father called his son kind, considerate, and caring. But a much different story on the other side of the spectrum for Briar Schmigelski's father. He gave an interview on camera, and here's some of what he said.
Initially, it looked like they were victims as well, right? Initially. And it's really tough for me to see in the paper today photos of them alive and well in Saskatchewan. So I know they're not lost in the woods. That's incredibly hard to deal with.
I want to bring in CNN correspondent Polo Sandoval. We played just a small bit of what he said. The other part that you're going to play for us gives us a little bit of an insight into his son.
Absolutely, Lynn, especially when you hear from Mr. Smigelski there, you certainly hear another crucial voice to the conversation here as this manhunt continues in Canada. Yes, of course, there is tremendous heartbreak right now that the families and friends of the 3 murdered victims are experiencing, something that is unimaginable. But it's also interesting when you hear from Briar's father, and you get a sense from him, as you're about to hear, that it certainly has little to no hope that he'll get to see his son alive again.
A normal child doesn't travel across the country killing people. A child in some very serious pain does. Mounties are going to shoot first and ask questions later. Basically, he's going to be dead today or tomorrow. I know that. I would say, rest in peace, Briar. I love you. I'm so sorry all this had to happen. I'm so sorry that I couldn't rescue you.
Mr. Smigelski there painting a picture, I think, for viewers right now about his son, and also how he doubts that his son will actually survive this manhunt that is still ongoing right now.